Now, here's my Jeep. I drove it down in here, got it back out. Then I plowed down the side of the road there, back and forth to make it wide enough for me to park off the road, and I never got stuck. It was amazing. My new Jeep Compass. That down the road right there. I don't know if I can zoom in enough, but right there in the center, if you can see that tree that's busted off by the side of the road, that's the one that broke off and trashed my other car. Coming down the road, it broke off and totaled my Rogue. So there we go. I'm about to go out in these woods. These are the power lines, that I showed you from the other road, but I'm going to walk down through here. In the daytime, I said I was going to go out at night, but I can't do it justice, and there's 1.5 feet of snow to walk through. So I'm going to walk through from this side where I can actually park and see what's out there. So here we go. It's going to be a broken up video, so here's where I'm going to start, down that hedgerow and walk out into those woods. Alright, this is a workout. Walking in knee-deep snow. Quite the cardio workout, but this is one of the reasons I don't believe that the tall men or anything else that's big, DMs, is around here, because I can see halfway back to my truck. I can easily see my footprints. So if they walked anywhere within 200 yards of a road out in the open, you would see those tracks for a long time. They're 18 inches deep. I don't know if you can see, it's snowing pretty good right now, but even if it snowed 6 inches, you'd see that trackway, unless it really blew hard and blew them right in level. You would see that trackway, and there are undeniable boot prints in the bottom of them. But yeah, I had to stop, and so I thought I would just show you how far I got at 61 years old. Whew. And I still have half of that to go before I get to the woods. Okay, check in a few. Back again. Whew. Look at the top of that tree. Now a lot of those little limbs are busted off because that's a dead tree, looks like. Mostly dead anyway. But there's nothing above that as big as that hooked piece that's in between in that crotch. And there's nothing nearly that big anywhere around it that fell from. I'd have to say that's placed looking on the ground. There is a big tree, but the little bits of it I can see sticking out, that's been there much longer than the one up in the air. And as I look, you can see by the snow that there's a leaned tree, a lean tree, and another one that's stuck way up in a crotch up there. I haven't been that far over, but it doesn't look like the other half of that tree that's leaned one way is stuck in the tree going in the opposite direction, shaped like a Y. Way over there, there's a big tree that's leaned, and I can't tell you if they're hooked to the ground because of 18 inches of snow on the ground. But this one in particular does not look natural. I don't see any of the small things that I do in and near the nursery on this side. This is all big. Right there is the beginning of the pines. And you can see that I'm in the woods 100 yards from that big open field I just crossed. and I'm headed towards these pines, and I'm going to stay to the right of it because Dee told me that she feels something too on the left hand side. So when I get halfway through these pines, I'm going to pop out into these hardwoods over here and see if I can find any sign over in there. Whew. I'm going kind of slow now. It's snow is deeper in the woods. Okay, talk to you in a few. I'm back. Okay. In the pines. Everything in here, as far as I can tell, is fallen in the same direction that the big winds come from. I don't see anything spectacular or teepeed or X's. Before I got in here, I saw that big large piece stuck up in the tree and a few pieces blown down in the opposite direction of the normal wind. But there's plenty of deer sign, and back in that direction I did kick up a doe. I saw her, big beautiful doe. This is the edge of the pines. Now I'm going to walk out. You can see the big open field D that I showed you the picture of next to the pines, the big open field. So I'm going to walk between the open fields out into where you told me to go to the left and see what I can see out there. Ta-da! I know these are only 1-minute videos and this is going to be a little short thing, but watching a million little short clips, unless I find some good evidence or, you know, something on the ground to show you, I'm just going to keep walking. Ta-ta for now. Oh, okay, let's see if I can get in here. Get on one knee here. Okay, the snow doesn't blow. You see them claws? Still on the top of the snow like that. There's another one. Oh, you can see this line of tracks right here. That's a fisher. A big one too. I haven't seen a fisher or seen any sign of a fisher since I was probably 15 years old. They're very elusive and they never ever stop running. They don't. Either they're perfectly still or they're running full out. They never just walk. Oops, almost dropped you. That's I've never seen fisher prints on the snow, but when I was young we used to have one up in Mexico, New York, where I grew up. But you can see right there, you can see where that fisher is digging for the hibernating squirrel. I just thought that was cool. You don't see fishers in the woods very often, and or any real sign of them. As far as Bigfoot goes, that one's broken, but it doesn't have any limbs, and it's going in the opposite direction of the prevailing wind. And here are two bent ones in the shape of an X. That all could be circumstantial evidence here, but that one right there, the big part is up and the small part is down, and it's leaned perfectly against a pine tree right there. I don't see any big bends or anything else that's actually weird in here, but there is a little bit of what I would consider sign. That one and an X looking back into the pines out there. But I thought I would show you this fisher print and what they do. They run around digging for hibernating squirrels because they don't fight or run away. They just lay there and get eaten. Oh my goodness. This is why I did not come out at nighttime, D. Just literally cannot fathom walking through 18 inches of snow through all this brush, carrying 2 lights and my phone rig and all that stuff. And it's snowing pretty good. I don't want to leave my truck out there too awfully long, but I'm gonna walk down that way, and I'm gonna swoop around way back over here. This is all state land, this whole entire mess here. Like, as big as yours, but mine has roads running through it. So I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna give you a nice slow pan. I haven't yelled for Kyle because I would hate to wake him up if he's hibernating. Wake up and see the snow, and he's like, "You son of a bitch." I don't know. I'm going to have to guess they hibernate because it's too hard for them to walk without being seen anywhere. So, they either hibernate or they go back to their own dimension or whatever in the wintertime. There's just not enough forage, even if they're omnivorous. They're omnivorous things can't eat what a herbivore does. It still has to be digestible, like the roots and fruits and stuff. And herbivore can eat bark and still be sustained off it, but an omnivore really can't. They need fat, and they need protein. I don't know why I'm whispering all of a sudden. I can hear Agrana, the fruit place, right over here. I can hear their compressors and their roof vents and stuff. But everything else is dead quiet. Probably because of the snow, but it caused me to start whispering. Can hear a train off in the distance. That was over by Budweiser. All right, off we go. Hi, peoples. Another little bit of wood lore here. See down in there? See that one? See how the buck spreads his toes out? And you see down in there, right there, where his little dew claws on his back legs, you see them? And you see the drag. I've seen that, I've talked about it before, but drag. If I was going to follow deer prints through the woods when I'm hunting, I would look for that. Drag. Like that. Now I know this is a foot to 18 inches of snow in places, but does pick their feet up. Bucks do not. Does flag their tail when you kick them up. Bucks do not. Bucks tend to distribute their weight. There's another one you can see where he spread his claw. His hoof is spread apart. Drag down through. Decided he was going to go that way and decided to go that way. But the reason I was following this buck track is because, there you go, D, there's a perfect X right there. Either telling whoever, whatever, I'm not sure what X's are, but now I'm out into where you called over to the left of the pines. See there? There's the pines. And I'm to the left of the pines and immediately found an X. So you are correct. There's something telling them don't come from the pines this way, or don't go into the pines, or if it's a don't go or don't do this, but maybe it's a territory marker. I have no idea what X's are, but we're adding human intelligence to something that's like us speaking English and then seeing a sign in Chinese and trying to assume what it means. This buck is, of course, heading me through the roughest stuff. Yeah, deer do that just anyway. He's gonna walk through some of the toughest stuff and then out into the open and through the toughest stuff. They don't just stay where it's easy like a human would do. They're always considered that they're being followed by their tracks. They're not stupid at all. So he's gonna walk me through that swamp right there. I am not gonna walk through the swamp. I'm gonna stay to the high side over here, over towards these bigger trees. And I'm gonna go out around the swamp, and then I'm gonna swing to the right and get back closer to my truck. And here is a nice slow, well, that was fast. Here's a nice slow look. I'm walking slow enough now where my heart's not pounding. I don't want to throw my knee out or my ankle, fall on my face in the snow or anything like that. A nice slow look around. Back towards that big open field. And that's it. Here's my foot in the snow. There's another foot. We're up to my knee in the snow. But this isn't easy, and I'm glad I didn't come out at nighttime. And here we go. Another thing. Yeah. Here they go. What I consider buck track. What I consider buck tracks. And then, poof. Same place he did in the late summer and fall, rubbed his horn. So that's why I follow tracks like that. They drag their feet, they spread them open, and you can see the dew claws. And they tend to walk where they've walked before. That's how you know you're following a buck. You don't know how big it is, but unless he sticks his face in the snow and puts an imprint of his horns, you don't know what you're actually after, but at least you know it's a buck. And in this part of New York, you got to shoot the first buck you see, because you're absolutely not going to see another one unless you hunt all of bow season, all of gun season, and then all of bow season again. I've done that my entire life, and I'm 61, and you tend to only see one buck a season that you get an actual good shot at. So sometimes you see a buck off in the distance or whatever, but no matter what kind of hunting you do, there's not really a lot of deer around here. If you see a buck, especially a good one, you better shoot it right then. Here we go. I'm going to go see if I can find some more evidence. All right. There's nothing squatchy right here, but right there, that buck just keeps running through. Right here, there's like a lot of track right here. Now, this thing is probably close to 150 feet long, this big tree that fell. Look what that buck did. Comes right through here, over that, and under those two. And so that just proves right there, bucks aren't stupid. They have ways of scraping you off. Any big predator is like, that's a big barrier to them. You wouldn't think that a big buck could screech his way through there, but he does it a lot. There's tracks. That Fisher tracks, but they're pretty old. Yeah, just came across this buck trail again, and he decided he was going to go under that tree more than once right there. So he comes from that open field over there, and in order to scrape off people or anything big following him, he uses this whole thing right here as a wall, and it's 4.5 feet tall, and he goes right underneath it instead of around it. They have their ways, and that's why they're still alive. Just showing you. I haven't come across anything I can't explain yet out here, but I'm going to make the swoop out around into those heavier woods on this side over here. I'm already swooping, but I'm going to make a little bit sharper of a right. Over in here is going to be another pine forest, I think, if I remember right, over in there. So I'm going to go over next to that and swoop around to the left, or to the right, which was off to the left where, because I was showing Dee the picture from the other road. But here we go. Off we go. Whew. Okay. Just came from that direction. Nothing. Then I came across. See that little, right there in dead center in this green? There's 2 or 3, like 10 foot tall and then broken and bent down to the ground, but there's no reason for it. There's 3 or 4 of them in a row right there, and exactly in line with that is this arch. Remember how I told you they put sticks on top of it? See it? They put sticks on top of it to hold it down, and even a dead tree, it will slowly bend that thing. Look at that big ass arch back there. I'm seeing all kinds of arches. There's another arch right there. It looks like a straight up and down white line because I'm in line with it. But I'm seeing all kinds of arches and sign right here. There's another arch right there. See it arching over behind that tree. There's a bunch of arches right here. And I thought it was very fun to see that they've broken off a bunch of sticks and set it on a natural lean just to on purposely make it arch. I think that's how they do it over time, is they just set something heavy on it so it leans over, and then it grows in that shape, or just bends in that shape, because there's some live twigs coming off the top of that one. I thought that was very interesting. I'm going to walk down through here a little further and see if I see anything big log sign. Okay. Whew. Okay, it's February 14th. And for those of you who don't live in the north, never think that all water ices over before snow will go on top of it. What happens is the ground freezes, and then it snows and it turns into slush where there's water. And that slush is like 33, 34 degrees. And then it builds snow on top of snow on top of snow. So that water, that slushy water underneath that, and even on the top of a relatively good size puddle, if it's a spring and that water's coming up out of the ground, it's 52 degrees. And when it hits that slush, it turns into like 34, 35 degrees, 33 degrees. It will not go solid. And then the snow on top of it is 32 degrees, and it's a blanket. So that will stay 33 degrees, and that won't freeze all winter until I just stepped on it. Now it's open air, and right now it's 22 degrees out here. That's going to freeze where I stepped on it. But underneath all this snow, if I walked out through a swamp, a big open spot where there's none of this brush or anything, I know I'm potentially going to step in water that could be 3 feet deep. You have no idea when you're walking around in upstate New York in this kind of thing, because it'll snow it'll snow a foot, foot and a half all at once. And like I told you, that top of that water will turn into slush, and then it'll snow on top of it, and that slush will just stay there. It will not melt that snow. And this is just a blanket of insulation for the ground, so it doesn't get below. Even though it goes below zero, last night it was 16 degrees, and there's open water, so absolute proof. But I've walked through the woods my whole life, been around. We used to make skating rinks out on the ponds and stuff, but as long as if open water freezes. But if it gets snow on top of it, which is why everybody that lives up here knows, as soon as it snows, if you got a place that you like to go ice skating outside, you have to go out and shovel that snow off, or that ice might melt underneath that snow and turn into slush, and then you can't skate anymore. So when it snows, you gotta scrape the snow. Ooh, I almost dropped you again. Trying to put my glovey back on. So I don't know if you can actually see it. It's snowing out here pretty good. So I'm gonna make a swoop that way. I don't know if I'm gonna hit open field or scrub brush, but now I'm right next to the Agrana field across from where I wanted to swoop right, and then I saw all this stuff. Okay, so I'm on the other side of that big arch, and here you go, D. Here's what's to the left. Your perfect everything into one point 3-stick teepee. Look at that beautiful thing. That one obviously broke off from right there. I don't know if that's attached to the ground, but in any case, they broke it off and they leaned that one way up against that tree, and then they took this one. I don't know if that's hooked to the ground or not, but all three in one spot in the crotch. There's no way that naturally happened. Maybe that first one did, but these other two were on purposely put right there. That is a perfect teepee. And I'm seeing out in that direction. Let me see if I can zoom you in. It's hard because the screen's wet. I can zoom you out a little bit. And you're zoomed in as far as it'll go. But out in that direction, you can see a couple of arches out there in white. It's arch after arch after arch, all in line, because there's another one. And I showed you the one on the other side with the sticks on. Here's the teepee again. I don't know why. I think the snow just shut off my phone. But there's the arches. There's this one, but that's arch after arch after arch after arch. And the other one on the other side with the sticks on top of it. All in a line right here. Like you could walk underneath them, all of them. And right underneath this beautiful, perfect teepee right here. So this is what's to the left, D, and I'm going to walk all the way back through the woods. I got like a half a mile to walk that way, so let's see what I get out there. Bye for now. Here we go again. One in that crotch, a second one in that crotch, and a third one in that crotch. All three of them from different directions. I don't know if that one was purposely pushed over in there, but it looks like it was. That could be attached to the ground, but these two are definitely not. And the other funny thing is, 1, 2, 3, tree stand. This guy has not a clue. This doesn't, and it's been, I mean, right there is the Fisher track, right up through there. But that buck walks way up through the woods up that way. Doesn't come down here. I wonder why. But there's arch after arch back here. There's a whole bunch of leaned sticks. There's a leaned stick right there. Big side up with nothing above it. There's a structure over in there. You can see a couple of arches and some more. It's hard in this much snow. It's hard to see what the tall men would do compared to. I'm just going to show you how hard it is to freaking walk through here. Oof. Done all my other videos standing still, but this one, walking in thigh high in the snow. All right, get closer over here. Okay, now here's a doe walking in. See how not all of them have a drag mark, even in the deep snow? Does walk through the woods kind of like an Arabian horse does. Not quite that pronounced, but they pick their feet up. So I'm walking through 20 inches of snow some places. Do you see how hole after hole, you can see how the difference between what's going on here. What is going on right there? That right there. That right there is either a really big coyote. What the hell is going on right there? There is something. I'm purposely walking right directly in this deer's. What the hell? You see how this swoop goes this way, but this swoop here, this one right here, comes down into where my foot is? Something's walking directly on, but backwards from that deer track, but stepped one time out of it, and I caught him. Where? Let me see here. Yeah, something's walking in that deer track. I've never seen a coyote do that, but it's nowhere near big enough to be a DM, so it must be a big coyote trying to be stealthy. It's definitely dog track. I've never seen coyotes walk in a deer track before on purpose. Use my teeth to get my glove back on. There we go. It has stopped snowing a little bit. I'm walking back towards the road that my truck is on. It's going to take me a while to get out there. But here's another structure D. They've taken an arch and a lean and a lean and a lean and a lean, and they made this beautiful structure right here. There's all kinds of stuff, and there's another one built over there. That's all kinds of little trees stuffed under a tree laid on top of them, so that's going to end up being a bunch of arches too. The cool one about this one is there's some type of a bird nest. The birds have used their structure to make a nest right there. I don't know what kind of bird would be right out in the open like that. It's what, 4.5 feet off the ground. Somebody out there probably knows their bird and what kind of nest would be made right there, with nothing above it, not in a tree, not hidden at all. I'm not sure what kind of bird does that, but I'm not a bird person. Alrighty, just wanted to show you what it was like walking through here, but there are a bunch of suspective, beautiful little makings, and I'm gonna say adolescents or females. made these. Those other bigger structures in the back by the open field, I think were made by males. But there's a lot of arches and a lot of leaned things right here. Oh God, I can only imagine had I tried to do this at nighttime. That would have been a huge failure. Right here, I'm going to make this one a longer one, because right in here it's not so hard to move around. I haven't seen anything that could even be remotely a Bigfoot track. Seen deer, seen fisher, coyote. This right here is more of that fisher's tracks. Wow, I am tired. Walking very slow. I know I have a good 2/3 of a mile to get out to the road. Now here we go. I just stepped right there. Open water, slush. For you people, I know people living in all the rest of the United States. Some of you have snow and cold weather every winter time, and some of you don't. You got to be super careful walking through the woods in the wintertime. Because if you can see open water like that, if you can see open water, that's a spring. That might be 1 inch of water right there and 5 feet of mud. Don't step there. Just don't even do it. That could get you in trouble. Don't walk up on what you think is a mound of dirt, because it could be a mound of bushes, and then you fall down through it and get stuck in there like you're fell through the top of an igloo that's made of sharp sticks. Here's a deer trail that multiple deer have walked down through. Deer pee-pee. Whoop! I just heard a woo. Just possibly. Nope, it's not. Somebody's driving a snowmobile and they're going whoom, 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 whoom. But that first one was loud and it sounded like a woo like that. But it wasn't. Someone's driving the snowmobile on the other side of the road from my truck. Apparently probably down the power lines, because it's illegal to drive a motorized vehicle. Whew. Here you go, D. Another beautiful arch right there. Can't drive a motorized vehicle on state land in New York unless it's posted that you can. All right. Another arch. I'm coming to another piece of open field here. And believe me, it's not any easier to walk down an open field in snow than it is out in the woods, because the edge of the woods slows down the wind, what little bit of breeze there is. And then if you walk up right near the edge of the woods, the snow is much deeper than it is out in the middle of the field. And right before you get to the edge of the woods on the inside, the snow gets deeper. Kind of like what happens, a very small version of what happens in the mountains. The snow falls on one side of the mountain because the air has to go up over it, slows down, drops the snow out. Other side of the mountain doesn't get any snow. This is not at all the same field that I walked up in here. That's half a mile down the road. As the crow flies, I probably just walked a mile. Maybe a mile and a quarter through the woods and up for my car. But going around all these trees is definitely 2.5 miles or better, because you can't walk in a straight line at all ever. All right, now, son of a gun. Now, that house right there is on my side of the road. I don't know if you can see them. Way the hell over there is the power line. So I'm half a mile down this road from my car, and I'm gonna walk just right across this open field. I did not come across any footy prints, but I did come across beautiful structures and big arches in here, so there is sign for sure. Sometime during the summertime, I think I'm going to walk end to end on this end of the woods, just so I can come back through and see this, because I only see just a little piece of it. I can't. It's just so deep. Oh my God. It's going to take me almost 20-25 minutes to get down there to the road. So, signing off. I hope this was helpful. And this is what's to the left of those pine trees that I showed you. There's definite sign out in here, but no tracks in the snow at all big enough to be Bigfoot. I'm positive. That's why I have not shown a video in a long time, but I'm positive that they either hibernate or migrate or go back to their own dimension, or they only leave footprints when they want to. So they're not like fully phased into our world. I have no idea. It could be any one of them. But I have a long walk to the road. And unless I see something in the middle of the field out here, I am going to sign off. I hope you had a wonderful day at work, Dee. And the rest of you, it's Saturday. So some of you have work, some of you don't. I was in the woods looking for Sasquatch, so neener. Bye-bye.